Coach, I see you got, I think, 11 guys on defense in this group so far, 10 or 11.
Yeah, that number this time of year is always ever changing.
Yeah.
Right? A balanced class. I think we took the one transferring Darryl up front. That was an important need for us, and then took KJ Sampson. I think he's one of the best defensive tackles in the country. Won a state championship. Odell and I have been down there a bunch, down at New Bern, and what a great community and a great kid. And then we took two edge rushers, and Boots has been with us for a while. We've kind of seen him grow and develop. And then Jaden Jones, who when we sat down as a defensive staff last spring to watch his practice, and it took about one practice set and some of the game clips to say yes to him. So really excited about that group. We took two linebackers. We think Blake is one of the most dynamic linebackers in the country. We saw what he did with the ball in his hands this year. Randy did a great job. D-Ray did a great job with Blake, and he was able to make it down a bunch for us, and felt really good about him. And then DeMarco, who's already enrolled, he'll be here. And another big kid, was a track player, can run, good fit for us. Then at DB, we're taking a bunch because we play a bunch of them, and I think we've done a good job. We took a bunch of kids from North Florida with KJ Kirtland and Jabril Rawls. We took Quindarius. Quindarius was with us at camp. Felt really good about him. And then we were fortunate with Edwin. We kind of ran the race with Edwin. He recruited him for a year and, really gained some momentum here the last couple months with him. As that team started to win a state championship, when we transitioned from recruiting him as a wideout to moving to DB. And I think that really helped develop a little bit of connection with Edwin. And I think he's a tremendous future here. I think he's typical of the DBs we're trying to recruit.
Yeah, let's go through some of those. I'll start with Blake.
Yeah.
Played running back in high school and linebacker. Seems like an athlete.
Yeah, I think you look at the success that Kalen DeLoche has had, and I think his best football still ahead of him. Blake's a little bit more, probably a little bit bigger at this point in his career than Kalen was when Kalen was coming in. But just guys that are dynamic, whether that's running the ball or every game I talked to Blake and he said, "Coach, I'm playing safety, I'm covering the slot." So there's going to be a little bit of that changing, but you see his vision at running back, and his in-person workout film is tremendous. His stop and start, and he's just he's a Seminole type of kid. Really hard-nosed, super athlete, and he really fits in here.
Does he have any background in football? I mean, any family members or?
No, not typically. No, we really got to know his mom and dad through this process, but not that I know of.
Okay. Edwin Joseph, they played him at receiver, they played him at defensive back. I watched him play one game. What do you see in him that stands out to you?
I mean, the first tape I watched was when Mike came to me and said, "Hey, can you take a look at Edwin? There's been some people that are starting to recruit him as a DB. He's got interest in that. Let me know if you think he can do it." And I watched 2 or 3 games of him playing wideout, and just when he moves, like his aggressiveness to the ground is really impressive. And just the way he runs, the way he comes in and out of breaks as a wideout sort of lended to that at DB. But the thing that jumped out about him besides the movements was just his strength around the ball. He was really violent in his catches. And so I went to Mike and I said, absolutely. I think he can play nickel. I think he can play corner. I didn't know how big he was. He could possibly be a safety. And then as we started recruiting him as a DB and Chaminade started to play him as a DB, you watch when the ball gets caught, his acceleration, how he tackles, I mean, it fits. I mean, he looks like a college DB now with the way he tracks the ball, the way he tackles. So I'm excited about Edwin. I think he's a great fit for us and, how we play. And I think he'd be a future star here at Florida State.
Okay. I get a little more specific with the defensive front. The Sampson.
Yeah.
What is he like? I mean, how would you describe him?
Odell was the first one to find him. We all watch his film. He seemed really loose and easy mover for the size that he was. So Odell went down the spring. I went down the spring. The first time I saw him was in the weight room at New Bern, and just his flexibility for a 300-pound kid. I mean, he sat down and some movements, and I was calling, and then they went outside, did some field work, and it's in an evaluation period, and I'm watching them work, and I called Odell and Mike on the phone as I was leaving. I said, we have to hold on to this one now. Just his flexibility, and he's an elite mover for a big kid. And I think we saw it this year with New Bern winning the state championship. KJ he's got a great demeanor. He fits us personality-wise, character-wise, but just his athletic ability is elite for a defensive tackle. So, that position usually takes a little bit to get going, but it won't be athletically for him. It's just, I think the strength and just the physicality that comes with playing at this level will be the adjustment period for him, but he checks all the boxes for everything else.
Getting a guy from North Carolina to commit to you that early on and then hanging on to him isn't easy, is it?
No, it took a lot of trips. Mike only has one, but between me and Odell, we made sure that we shared the work. But Odell does a great job. Once we identify the right guy, he just develops. He's got a track record. He develops really close relationships with the student athlete, with the family, and that New Bern school now. They're behind that kid 100%. And you even see during the championship games, there's the war champion played down there. So we felt really good about it, but you still got to battle to the end, and we had to. And people came at him, but KJ knew where he belonged.
You talked to me a little bit already about Boots, but edge rusher.
He's a true defensive end in our defense. His dad played here. I can remember watching his workouts out in the yard that Lamont used to work out with him, during COVID, as we saw him as a young player. And we kind of took a little bit of a chance with him early just because of his athleticism, but he had to grow and he had to fill out, and he did, because I knew the work ethic was going to be there. And so, that was just definitely somebody we got in very, very early. And just to see him grow and develop, I think that's what's exciting about recruiting. When you can get involved with some of these guys that, were Florida State fans or legacies here, but you saw them really grow and develop through the years. And it's kind of a culmination on signing day of just the celebration of where that kid's come from.
One last question. I asked Shaheem Brown this question today, and then I asked Mike a minute ago, but as you guys continue to improve your talent, each year you're recruiting guys who are, I guess, maybe higher rated than the class before. Mm-hmm. Does some fans believe that you can get to a point where you could scare off some of your existing players? Mm-hmm. That it may take playing time away from them. I have an opinion about that, but I asked Shaheem his opinion. I asked Mike, I want to ask you. Yeah. What's your opinion about that?
I think competition breeds success. And if you recruit the right kids with the right mindset, they recruit players that are really good because they want to be the best. Listen, competition isn't just about beating the team you play every Saturday. Like, if you can put competition around you that isn't selfish, right? I'm talking about selfless, where they just want the best for the group, and they're hungry as individuals to push, like, the competition is going to make everybody the best. And I think that's important. You find that in coaches. When we can hire quality control coaches or bring guys on staff, like, I want the best. You want guys that are going to come in and push you to be better. You don't see it, because it happens in coaching too, right? Is a coach confident enough to bring people in that can maybe challenge them? And if you're not willing to do that, you probably won't grow. You probably won't improve, and you'll probably get beat. So I think recruiting is the same way. You want to recruit guys, yes, they're constantly upping the athleticism, upping the sizes and all those things. But if you continually take the guys with the right mindset, like, next thing you know, you look over and you get 80 of that type of competition. Now practice is better, workouts are better, school's better, and that's how you create a championship program.
Let me ask you, along that same line, mm-hmm. If I'm a cornerback and I want to go to the league, I want to become the best I can be to get to the league. Win here, get to the league. Can you get too many reps? Is there the right balance in a game to where you're fresh and at your best? Do you want a cornerback going 60 reps?
I don't know. I mean, if he's that much better in rep 50, 60 than the fresh one is 1 to 10, then yes, you're going to leave him out there. I think that's what you try to make the judgment by.
Every
You know,
kid's different.
I think so. You know what I mean? I think there are some guys, you know, I've had corners where they're going to play 80 plays a game, and you're not going to take them out. I played where maybe you may play 4, and they rotate through. Sometimes you have some guys that you got to put them against certain guys because they match up better. You know, and I just think it's all. Yeah, I think coaches get in trouble when they say this is what I'm going to do, and you don't really look at what you have. You know, I think you got to be open-minded to that. You know, I think up front you're always going to need the rotation. But listen, we play a lot of press coverage. We play a lot of man coverage. So there's a lot of yards being run. So I'm always taking that into account, you know, with how you're rotating guys, with how you're playing.
Okay. Appreciate your time.